All right, let's get it started. Today we we stretched today for about 8 minutes. First stretch was the Piriformis stretch.
I think a good amount of time to do this each leg is 1 minute.
Yeah, we did about a minute each leg.
When I did this stretch,
Your hip felt tight?
yeah, my hip felt tight on one of my legs. On one of my legs, it felt fine, but it just felt a little tight on my leg.
So I believe one of the sides,
It's the left.
the left side's a lot tighter than the right. She felt super uncomfortable. You're gonna see instances of her feeling really uncomfortable during these stretches. But a couple things that you want to focus on here is especially the leg that you have crossed. You want to make sure that that foot is flat on the floor, and you want to bring that knee as close to your body as possible. All right, and we want to sit up nice and tall and not slouch too much. You want to keep a nice tall back when doing this stretch. I believe that was 1 minute. We're switching to the other side.
And it's when I did the stretch with my dad, I on my right leg, as my dad said earlier, that I didn't really feel much pain. I didn't really feel much pain in it. But where I really felt it, it was like where my hip was.
What wasn't it? Your tush?
Yeah.
You felt it in the front?
Yeah, I felt it like in the front.
It might be tight in the front, but we stretch that upper hip part in a bit. But she's doing a good job here. And we're holding this for about a minute each side. Keep that foot flat, pull that knee close to your body, and sit up as tall as possible.
Like, as Daddy, you said you were tighter than me.
I think I'm tighter than you.
Yeah, I don't think so. When I get up in the morning, it hurts.
I don't think you know what morning pain feels like.
You know. How would you know?
Oh, I'm a lot older than you are, kiddo.
Seriously?
Yes.
I slept on the floor. It hurt so much.
All right, we're moving on to the next stretch. This is the Ballerina. Oh, we are actually using an app called GOWOD. GOWOD is a great app for stretching, and we're following the lower body protocol.
So when I felt this
Specific flow. No.
specific,
I'm saying that's what we're following. We're specifically following the low body portion in GOWOD.
so what I think you should do is you can put one foot in front of you, and you would have to turn the foot, right, Daddy?
Oh, well,
Turn the foot.
so
the
she's trying to go over. So you want your front foot bent at a 90-degree angle, and you want to make sure that the foot is flat. All right.
And
then you
could-
want to turn. Hold on, I'm explaining. You want to make sure that the front foot is flat. You want to turn the back leg perpendicular to your midline. All right. So you kind of want to turn it in towards you, and then lean forward a bit. Sorry, guys. Neighbors are in the back talking. We're out in front doing this commentary. So if you hear any noise in the background, pardon us. That was minute on that side. We're switching to the other side.
Yeah,
You want to talk about where you were feeling these stretches?
Well, when I did the second part of the ballerina, after we did the leaning, you put your leg out. You put your leg
Well, talk
out.
about where you were feeling it, because we're doing the stretch here. You said you were feeling it in the front
Yeah,
of
I
your
felt
hip.
it again. I felt it in the front of my hip, as Daddy said. So it was tight. It was tight for me.
Okay. But she's doing a good job. I would rather that back leg turned in a bit, but we're doing these to her abilities. You should be doing these stretches to your abilities also. But this is what we do to get our bodies moving. Usually not recommended to overstretch before you start moving, but this gets me going pretty well.
Also, when you do this, it's good for your balance.
Yeah. Right now, you're pretty much training your balance, trying to maintain it as good as possible.
Okay.
She fixes the foot a bit.
A couple of times during this round. As you would see when we post this on YouTube, I fell sometimes.
Right now we're going over the night stretch, which is a lunge. We're in a lunge position, so foot 90 degrees. You want to make sure that you're squeezing your tush when you're in this kneeling position before you lean forward. Tuck your hips underneath you. You're going to pull your stomach in a little bit, and then you're going to lean forward. I'm fixing her position a bit so she's nice and square. You lean forward. You feel a stretch in the front part of the hip, and then we're going after the hamstring. We're going back and forth, about a 1 to 3 second hold in each position.
As I wanted to say earlier, when we touch the floor,
They can't see you when you bend down. You got to see your face. They can see you bend down on here.
When I touch the floor, it the back of my
Your hamstrings.
my hamstrings stay on each side, mainly my left. It felt pulling. It pulled.
Like really tight.
Yeah, really tight. And here we are doing it again.
Well, we're going back and forth. Really didn't count how many times we did it for each minute. Probably should have did that, but I'm helping her out.
I think a good time is like 10.
If you can do it, but you want to also take your time with the stretch. And right now, these stretches are pretty new. She only started stretching with me, I think this week.
Like 3 days ago. This is the third day.
Yeah, I would say this is the third day.
Yeah, this is the third day I've started stretching with my dad. One day my dad said, "You're stretching with me." Second day I got used to the stretching, and I kept asking Daddy, "Are we gonna do the stretches, or are we gonna do the stretches yet?" And the third day, today, we did our stretching out here.
It was nice.
It was nice outside. Daddy, do you mind where we got the video of what we're doing?
What do you mean?
Where we were copying the stretches?
Yeah, I told him earlier. We're doing it from GOWOD. Again, this is 1 minute per side.
Yes. And
She busted into a split there.
you know I can't do split. And here's our next stretch. What was this?
This one was a quad stretch. This is a big stretch, especially if you are a bit older. It was a tough one for Sienna. Remember she said the front of her hips were tight? Well, this one was hitting the front of her hips and her shins a lot. So
no, it was it's like my hamstring now too.
Well, this really doesn't
my
hit
hip
you.
and hamstring.
This is really focused on the front. So with this, you want to make sure that your heels are on the side of your hips or underneath your butt. You can see that I'm using a medicine ball.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to use a medicine ball. You can keep your hands behind you like Sienna is doing.
Yes.
You'll feel this in your shins, your quads, and fronts of your, what happened? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, your quads.
I think a good position is like you can do a W.
Well,
So
we don't
like
really want you to W sit. W sitting is not good.
No.
Where her feet are positioned, I would rather her sitting on her heels and then leaning back. We don't really want to promote W sitting. Mommy's a physical therapist. She doesn't like W sitting.
But when I was laying back for some reason, I've done it before on our first day of stretching, it hurt more than it did the last time I did this.
Well, you're tight. You did a lot of sit-ups, hip flexors get a little tight. Here is a this is a basic hamstring stretch. To get in this position, you want to sit upright
and just put your legs out.
Yep, and keep
and
them together.
Try to touch your toes. Try to reach for your toes.
If you can't reach your toes,
just touch your legs.
Yeah, touching your legs and just bending forward in a relaxed position. You want to breathe throughout all these stretches. Again, this is about 8 minutes of stretching.
And I believe this was our last stretch. I believe this was our last stretch.
Yeah, this was the final stretch.
So yeah, we did a minute for this one. Where I felt it more like in my spine, like my back.
Her lower back. big stretch, especially for a lot of you sitters out there, people with